much, Tom.
Hi. So, thank you for coming to my presentation about physical security and hacker's mindset. So, as this has been recorded, and hopefully this works, not working. Technical issues, always great.
Should I come back up?
Might need to, let's see.
Back up with my little tiny handbag.
This was working a couple seconds ago.
My lip gloss. I'm going to beat it with my handbag.
Yeah, no, this, sorry, I got it. Okay. Can I help you?
Try that. Oh, wait.
Yep.
It's working. What are you talking about?
I was using this, but it wasn't working.
Oh. Well, we'll fix that.
Well, I'm just trying to fix it, but you know.
You just want us to get on the film now.
Yeah, there we go. It's working.
Okay. You see?
Thank you.
Done.
So,
Fabulous.
especially as this has been recorded, always going through this in my slides. Disclaimer: be ethical about all the things that I'm about to show you, as it's quite easy to do. Always get permission when you can, especially when actually sneaking, breaking into buildings, as fun as it can be. Generally, just don't make any daft decisions. Think about what you're going to do. I'm not responsible if you get arrested. And don't always assume you have access to buildings if the door's open, especially staff doors. Just because it's open doesn't mean you can go into it. And then I'm going to, because I'm touching on, just about to see that, because I'm going to be touching on social engineering, please try not to do social engineering for malicious use. You can use it for fun, but not malicious use. And especially don't damage anyone's property. I'm not responsible for you trying to lockpick a door and breaking it. I've done that before. Fortunately, I got away with it. So first of all, who am I? I'm Thomas O'Donnell. I'm a cybersecurity assurance tester, or generally just a pen tester. And the experience that I've had, I've picked locks, I've cloned badges, and I've got into buildings that I technically shouldn't have, but thankfully, as I had permission, written permission at that, I was able to get into them. Also, gaming, D&D, recently got into drones, the usual, you know, who am I? So, why do I like physical security? Breaking in. Who doesn't like breaking into buildings they shouldn't be allowed in? Especially my general goal is, can I get into that building and make a cup of tea? That's generally how I do it, and so far, very successful. Unfortunately, some of their cups of teas are terrible. They go with like Thai food or something, but you know, you do you. It's also, I find like a real life puzzle. You see a building, how do I get in there? Is there a front entrance, side entrance, some kind of entrance which allows me to get in there undetected, or if I do get detected, can I still get through? Are you going to, there we go. It's more than just locks. As I mentioned, social engineering is part of the game. Human element is always the weakness of physical security in my minds. So I always try to talk to people, talk to staff members, see who I can speak to, just get the validity of why I should be there. And the main reason, and especially the reason why I got into this, I tend to blame heist movies. I used to watch a lot of them when I was younger, and ever since watching them, I've always looked at a building and go, how easy? So, is physical security important? Well, if I can walk in there, whatever cybersecurity defense you've got is pointless. You could have the best firewalls known to man. If I can walk in there and steal your computer, there's no point in having any of that defense. Especially if I can get hands on, I can do more damage. Small oversights equal big breaches. So I find physical security is often set and forget. So it's a case of once the company has got their physical security in place, be it barriers, fences, whatever, no one really takes care of them, no one really monitors them. I've seen plenty of cases where fences have been damaged, you can easily walk underneath them, or just no one really pays attention to actually who walks by. It's just really easy. And then, it's not just about workstations or servers. Just because you have important tech doesn't mean you don't want to protect the people who are in that building. Not saying, my main goal is to see what tech stuff I can get to, but as a criminal mindset, you could say, they just might want to get to a certain person. So you're not just protecting your servers, your systems, your objects, you're protecting your staff as well. And believe it or not, real-world heists do actually happen. One example, the American International Group, I believe it's called, they suffered a breach due to burglars basically getting in and stealing, stole a server with unencrypted data. Same again for Voodoo Office. Thieves stole hard drives and made a lot with a load of private identifiable data there. Personal identifiable data, sorry. And Copeland Health Systems had laptops stolen. So these are just a few examples that physical security actually happens in real life. It's not always a case of, can you hack into their servers, can you hack into their website and all this such. So, what is a hacker's mindset? I have got stuff on here, it's just not loading. Gotta love tech. So, generally it's assumed nothing is truly secure. Once again, you can have the best defense in the world as far as laptop servers, whatever have you. Nothing's truly secure. There's always generally a weakness. It's whether or not the attacker, be it someone who with the permission, such as myself, or an actual criminal, has the time. Generally, I have the amount of time that I have when the assessment comes in. Criminals or hackers in general might have unlimited amounts of time. They could sit outside your company building and just see what could happen. Also, think like an insider. That some attackers aren't always from external perspectives. For example, I know there's some students here. You know what universities are like. You can simply just walk around, wait around, see what you can do. You can also think about what staff members could be in there. They could be attacking you and just claiming innocence. Observe, adapt, exploit. So, as I mentioned earlier, with unlimited amount of timing, someone could observe what patterns there are, what staff members are actually, what hours they are working, whether or not anyone's on there at night. If they're observing it at night, there might be fewer security guards around, allowing them more time to go around, observe, and see what they can get into and, as mentioned, exploit. And it's not always high tech. Some of the ways that people can get in are so low tech, requiring no technology or no technical knowledge. They just simply have to walk in, and if they're quite lucky, they actually get onto the place that they want to do and get to their target. One thing is to fail forward. Just because you don't get on through one method doesn't mean that there is another method. You're essentially running down all the possible exploits that you can find to identify a successful attempt. Now, with that said, I please ask you again, do not do crime. It's an obvious, but think like a criminal. For example, you can look at a building, it could be any old building, and you can just look at what doors are potential to get to, what security they've got in place. Do you see any CCTV? Do you see any access card requirements? Just think of those little details next time you look at a building and go, how secure is that building? Again, don't break in. So some of the tools that we use, quickly try and see if this can connect. There we go. So patience is one of the big tools that I recommend. You don't want to rush in. You want to take your time, observe. If you have the chance, that is. Sometimes you have no choice, but if you have the opportunity, wait. For example, when I arrive on site to do a physical, I normally get there a little early and observe where the staff members are walking to, what direction. Once they walk in, do they go left, do they go right, do they go straight up the stairs? That way I can observe that, sorry. Observe that and blend in with the crowd, essentially. Watch for patterns, access behaviour routines, see what people are doing. Especially what I like to do is double check the dress code. I might go there as smart casual. If I see them being more casual or more smart, and normally have, especially if we're driven down, have a change clothes with me, quickly change, have lanyards, check what lanyards they're wearing, try and match that colour. And again, sometimes just do nothing, just observe. The idea is to get as much detail as possible. You don't always have to get a successful attempt straight away in the morning. You can be in the afternoon. The goal for you is to get in, not get in now. So, other tools, the internet. With open source intelligence, the internet has a vast amount of knowledge you can go look at. Besides Company House, to find more details about the actual company, finding directors, managers, anything else, you can get a lot of information. Oh, no, there we go. Again, company reports, job postings, look for any details, especially with job postings. If they're looking for jobs, see what their requirements are. If they're looking for someone like a sysadmin, you can see what technology they're using, so you can better understand what sort of information they have. So when you go in there, you could simply use that opportunity to try and get into the interview, trying to observe what tech they're running, or just simply gain access to the building by claiming you're here for a job interview, you're looking for such and such. And then sometimes, you might be lucky, there might be forums or breach details about the company. There's been so many different data breaches recently. A simple lookup of their domain name could give you, okay, this email's been leaked, this email's been leaked, here's all the information that has been leaked, just so you can get more information about them. Second of all, clients' websites. Meet the teams, learn their names, see what they are. Not too many websites actually have meet the teams, but they have an about us section. They all have the higher ranking or higher architecture, whatever you want to call it. Staff members, so like directors, managers, and all that such. So you might be able to get some names, roles, and just some more information that you can put into your repertoire. Again, any job postings, see what tech they're running, see what information they're looking for, and just get further names and email addresses, especially when they say submit your details. And then, yep, press releases. Often they want to show how good they are as a company. So you might see company parties, pizza parties and all that. Chances are you'll find some information there about what events were on, and then when you go onto the building, if you get talking to anyone, you can say, oh, I've been to that such and such event. I was just coming here to talk further about such and such, if you just get that information. And similar vein, they also have social media. Some companies love social media, especially more recently that I've found, but also individual people from there. So you can get employees who love to overshare. They'll take pictures of the office, so you can get a better idea of the layout. You can also get badge photos. People love to post new badge photos. Got a new job, starting here, and all that. So that way you can actually get the layout of their badge if you want to pretend to have it. The amount of times I've saw a badge, printed it out on just A4 paper, glued it to a piece of card and just put it around here, no one noticed. I always love doing that, because my idea is to do at least something that seemed obvious that should be fake, and if no one catches it, that's even worse in my eyes. Again, LinkedIn is one of these places. You can find group photos, you can find group photos, staff photos, potential badges, see what people's jobs are, just gain so much information about these people before you're even on site. That's one of the ideas, or one of the fantastic things about the internet, is it just gives you so much information. And if you're lucky, some of them will post that they've checked into certain places, so that way you can go, okay, like this person who I might want to impersonate is actually based in Leicester, and he posted a picture yesterday that he's in Leicester, so it's unlikely to be in Essex, just as an example. And then similar, there's maps and satellite imagery. Again, before you get even onto site, you can use Google Maps and Street View just to get an idea of the layout of the land. If it's a local area, fantastic, maybe go there yourself, have a bit of a scope around. However, if it's further out, this just gives you just that familiarity. As similar to if you go into like a restaurant or somewhere that you haven't been before, you're just like, what is the area like? And then, yeah, Google is always fantastic for this. Historical imagery. Sometimes you get the latest 2025, or you get 2008. I went to a hotel the other day. I looked at Google Maps, and the hotel wasn't there. Turns out it was only built this year. And then, yeah, measure distances. How far? Fences are definitely a way to go if you want to jump over them, to get through them. But it also allows you to go, okay, if I go through this route, if I jump the fence, if I walk through this gap in the fence, how long do I have to quickly get there, and can I get there without looking weird? So as a bit of an experiment, and calling it an experiment, gotta love technology. Sorry about this. Porsche. I'm sure some people either want or have, or maybe not even like a Porsche car. However, it's an example. Say you have been asked to sneak into the Porsche dealership, trying to get somewhere you shouldn't. Now, first of all, we'll go to their website. They have an About Us section, but unfortunately that doesn't give you much information. It just tells you we're Porsche, which we know. How about their social media? We can go to LinkedIn, get some names, get some job titles, and we can also see that they've also posted a lovely group photo, which you can see a bunch of badges. So I could easily just take that photo and just mock up a rough idea of that design. And then again, Google Street View. Have a look at the land, see what you can do. Now, I've kind of cherry-picked Porsche, not because I like Porsche anyway, but because for some reason they allow you to actually go inside. So you can actually view it, because, you know, fancy cars. However, because of this, you can easily zoom in and notice that there is a locking system here, a thumb turn tool, which you can easily just use, a J tool, thumb turn bypass tool. Slide it through the crack in the door, which the chances are there is, and just simply turn it from the outside. You know. If we continue to go around, we can see what kind of cars they have. Again, generally nice, but we're trying to see the layout of the building. So as we go around, we can see interesting cars, but we can also see another door in the background there, which thankfully allows us to get a bit closer. So as we get there, we can just see we've got a sensor at the top there, and obviously if we just zoom in a little bit, we can see all good, secure. Chances are that's the contractor that's installed it. Doesn't really give us much help. However, thankfully, again, the internet is vastly filled with knowledge. You can just take a screenshot, search it, get the image, get the product page, and also you can get some technical details of that. Now, again, I'm not saying that this can be hacked. This is just further information you can gather. So if you're finding security details, this is definitely helpful. Now, if we go further around, we can also see, first of all, someone's on their phone, which is great for work. But we can also see a laptop that's open. We can get a rough idea. I would likely assume that's running Windows, which is chances are most places tend to run Windows anyway, but that just means we know what system they're using. Then we can easily just keep going further around and find out what they are. So we have learnt the layout of the building, staff names, possible badges, and what security systems are in place. And staff awareness seems to be a little lax, because if they're taking public photos and they've got their systems unlocked, they're on their phones, chances are they're not really bothering with any security protocols. There's also some other pictures you can find if you go around there involving their actual alarm system, which you can easily see and look at the model, which is always fun. So, but I also know what people are like. I actually want to see proper tools to use, not just internet. So one of the tools that I use, as silly as it is, Flipper Zero. I'm sure loads of you know what it is. I'm loving the fact that I've got this to do all the animations one at a time now. No, it's fine. I'll just put it all up there. So, Flipper Zero, the reason why I use it, not because of anything too fancy, not because of anything special. It's a small device that does a lot of things okay. Not fantastic, but it definitely does what I need it to do. The main thing that I wanted to do is RFID and NFC and such, and the occasional human interaction device control. So with this, I can simply fuzz RFID readers, or RFID readers, sorry. I can fuzz them to try and see if, by any chance, can I get these things unlocked. Did a test the other day, and you could definitely unlock something by just fuzzing it if you're very lucky. It does every value possible. But generally, I also use it to clone the cards if I have access to cards. One test, I was able to, I requested my site contact to go, I know it's not technically in scope, but can I just see if your cards can be cloned, just to add some more to report. I went, oh yeah, here's my card, I'm just going to go make coffee, I'll be back in 2 seconds. I cloned it before I even got back. And I went out, tested it, and I no longer needed his help getting into the building. It was fantastic. And as mentioned, also utilise radio frequency identification. So one of the tools I use is a detector. So essentially what I can do with this is I can go up to a access panel and just go, oh, is it low frequency or high frequency they're using? And because this is passive, it doesn't mean that it just means that the client isn't aware of any failures, any test, any attempt. I'll just simply walk past the reader. Oh, it's using high frequency, go away. And then if I want to fuzz it, I can just start straight away with high frequency cards. Yeah. I'll just might as well just launch all this. So yeah, Proxmark 3 is another tool that I use. It's more, what's the word I'm thinking of? It's definitely not as easy as Flipper Zero. You need to actually like connect to your computer. You can use it as standalone mode. I just tend to do it more like research purposes, but if I have access to a card, I can definitely do more details like decrypt the data that's on there. Sometimes you can get a card that only uses UID, which allows for very quick cloning because you're just essentially reading a string of letter, alphanumericals. However, with more complex cards, you can simply use a tool like this if you can get hold of it to clone it. But it's definitely more for research purposes. Then you can get tools like the iCopyX, which is generally considered an all-in-one tool. Very easily to use, very friendly. You can simply just present it with a card you want to clone. It tells you, okay, it's this type of card, my fair, I think that was. You need to use this type of card, bring it across, press OK, and there you go. Or you can use it to emulate the card as well. You don't necessarily need to have an actual card with you, but it's so easy to use, it's scary easy. Also commercially available, which is always great. And then if you just want to be a bit more fancy, you can have a setup of your own. So this is a long-range RFID scanner attached to a Raspberry Pi and a battery bank in a clipboard. I tested this when I was at the London Expo last week, obviously to demonstrate a client before saying anything. So essentially you could read up to 18 centimetres away, which might not sound a lot, but slip that into a messenger bag, walk next to somebody, stand next to someone in the elevator. You can, if they're using no encryption and just needs a UID, you can capture that, and it can constantly scan, so it's picking up new RFIDs and can easily be read. The way that's been set up, the way I have that set up, is the Raspberry Pi connects to a router, a Wi-Fi router that I've got, and then which then connects to my laptop, which I can read it from a distance. So I can just get a colleague or myself to use that, clone someone's card, and my identification can be burnt, while a colleague can just simply take that data and present the cards. Other tools that are fun to use when on site are human interaction device payload. So essentially it's just running a USB or whatever input you want to mimic like a keyboard, a mouse, or in this instance a keyboard. So it's essentially just plug it in. Sometimes you can do it by trigger, you can sometimes just do it by time bomb, or you can just simply plug it in and go, yep, load up this payload on a website, and they automatically download it and apply it. And one of my favourite tools I always take with me when doing physical jobs, traveller's hooks. So I bypassed a fair amount of locks with these. It's actually scarily easy how simple this can be done. They're fairly cheap. You can get a pack of them for like 10 quid, I think. Fantastic because they're non-destructive. They might scratch a little bit every now and again, but they're generally non-destructive. They work on so many doors. As long as you've got like a little gap, which generally most doors do, you can just simply go in. And just to demonstrate how scary they can be, this gate, just use a traveller's hook and I was able to get in. Fun fact with that door, I was able to get in with my thumb. There was a gap around the side where you could just like shove your hand in, put your thumb in the way and just open it. So the traveller's great, thumb if you don't need it. And the one tool I'm always told that is always needed is lockpicks. And as someone who has done lockpicking for 2 days last week, hours and hours on end, it's fun, it's a nice hobby to use, but I rarely ever used it during an actual on-site. Most doors nowadays have access cards, so lockpicking is actually not as used. And the last time I used it, the pick actually broke in the door. That was a fun time. But it's a fun hobby to do. It's easy to get done. It's cheap enough to get in there, but it isn't used as often. But what can be used a fair amount of times is just in general appearance. You have to dress for the part. As part of your research and a part of the mindset is who are you attacking, what building are you trying to get into. As I mentioned earlier, you have smart casual, you have just casual, you have people who want to be in shirts, ties and all that. You have to try and match the appearance because you're trying to blend in. If you're going into like, let's say for example, a law firm, and you just came out of PE, you're not going to do well. Whether you believe it or not, some researchers believe that if you wear glasses, it's meant to signify intelligence. I'm living proof of that's a lie, but it meant to signify intelligence and makes you more trustworthy, apparently. There's other things you can do. You can get like ring-size kits. I've seen some where you wear a wedding ring or something like that. They think, oh, you're trustworthy and all that, so just cheap ring that you can get. And then just make sure you got plenty of lanyards to try and blend in. Or a fork. A kid, but I actually managed to get into a building with this. You can use a pen, you can use a fork, you can use similar tools. Essentially, lean it against the door, wait for someone to come out, it falls down, it can't close. That's a way into the building. As I said, can be very low tech, doesn't have to be anything special. And plus it looks innocent. Again, the doors, and just in case you can use it for lunch. So, methods of entry. Trying to get all of them before. There we go. Doors, which I know, as simple as that sounds, first thing to check. See what doors they have. If they have only access at the front, fair enough. If they have a staff entrance, a car park entrance, as mentioned, fences. However, that can be a health and safety nightmare, and also barriers. Not just gates, fences, and all that. It's do they have turnstiles? Do they have security that have to check who you're in, especially if it's an airlock essentially. Some buildings might only allow you to get into the building if you get buzzed in first. Again, done that with a building, only one way in, staff entrance, click to buzz in, said we're at IT, we got let in. If you don't try, you don't know. One gate I saw was a radio control gate. Fortunately, I didn't have my flipper zero that day, but essentially they was running a system that uses sub-gigahertz. So if I just fuzzed a sub-gigahertz frequency, I could have potentially opened that door without anyone knowing. It was always good. One thing I like to do, and again, part of the mindset is scout. Make sure the details are there. See what CCTV you can see, staff members, there we go. See what staff members you can see. Don't, if you can, be patient, don't jump straight into it. Try to see, okay, who's there? Do I need to make eye contact? Is that person talking to someone? And if you are redoing a physical check, have they fixed anything from last time? I've done jobs for clients who have never updated their security because budget reason probably. But also, yeah, is there any doors or gates that someone forgot to close? So with staff members, for example, one of the ways I managed to get on is, again, being patient. I noticed that there was a parcel force or Amazon, one delivery company coming in, managed to open the door that you could only buzz through with an access card. And while the person was talking to the receptionist, I managed to walk past because they were engaged. They eventually caught up with me, but I got on the site and got where I needed, so that was fine. Or if you have a bit of fun, and which I tend to want to do, if you've got a drone, as long as you've got your operator ID, flyer ID, and it's less than 250 a grand, if I remember rightly, have a scout. You don't need to be actually on the road. You can just be nearby. It allows you just to get an idea of the land, make sure that all the data that you got is still up to date, and it also gives you a more perspective of, oh, I didn't see that patch of land there that I could just walk across and get onto site. Now, one other aspect, as I mentioned before, is social engineering. It's one of these ideas where you essentially just gift of gab, you're talking through, trying to get what you want by having a silver tongue, as one says. So one of the aspects is pre-texting. So before you go on site, who are you? What are you doing there? Or what do you want when you're there and why? So essentially, you could do some research, like, oh, I saw you had a job interview here. I just want to come and see what the place is like. I was hoping that I could speak to Dave, who works in IT. You know Dave works in Leicester while you're down in Essex, so you hope for the best that you got the wrong site, but they might allow you to go in, just have it observe, see what's there, and just see what you can get. And the second part is elicitation. Yep, there we go. So generally, casual conversations work really well. As I mentioned earlier, one of the things that I like to do is go on site, go to staff rooms, as well as making myself a cup of tea, talk to staff members, see what you can get into. You know, flatter people, say, oh, you're very knowledgeable, especially if you do a bit of research, you know who you're talking to. They could be working in HR, they could be working in IT, they could be working in marketing. If you know they did a press release on something, you can go, oh, you did a press release on this thing the other day, didn't you? I thought it was really good. Such. Everyone likes to be bigged up. Everyone likes to think they've done a really good job of something. And if you do play the role of a learner, they will want to teach you, they want to talk to you, they will want to talk about themselves. And especially the open-ended question, echo or confirm. So again, if they keep the conversation going, keep the idea that you want to learn from these people, learn what you want, just to get some more data from them. You might get, oh, Dave is actually here, he's actually up in Leicester, however, I'll get Greg over there just to give you a quick show around and hope for the best. And finally, as far as the basic steps, impersonation. So generally confidence is key. There's no point going, oh yeah, I'm Greg. You have to show that you know what you're talking about, and especially like if you're playing the role of either manager or any role that you want to look at, dress the part, as I mentioned. It's all about blending in, seeing if you can get away with it, and just seeing how long you can get away with pretending to be someone else, which sometimes is actually a lot of fun. But then it's the main important thing is to always do your research about that person. Never impersonate someone who, as I said, works in the same building, because they'll know. I remember when I was trying to impersonate one person, they didn't work in the same building, they worked in a different city, but the person that caught me knew who that person was. I went, you're not that person, I'm going to call him on the phone now. I was like, okay, cool, I'll give him now. Great. But with the research, you've already looked up social media, you've already seen names, faces and all that. You can try to figure out someone that you can potentially impersonate, learn about their job, know what to talk about and see what you can do. And the best part that I find with social engineering is you can try it now. Well, not now I'm talking. The one thing I love to do, especially to read people, look at their micro movements, look at their expressions, look at their body language, look at how they're portraying themselves. Are they very closed off? Are they very restricted? Are they very open? Are they very welcoming? Try to gather some information about, sort of information about them. When you talk about certain conversations, how do they react? How do they respond to your questions? It's all just generally trying to get as much information from a person as possible. And you can do it with someone you know, someone you don't know. You could go up to McDonald's in a moment, get yourself a meal, and then just have a casual conversation. They'll probably tell you to go away, but you can try to have a casual conversation. And also, if it's someone that you don't know, be someone else. You don't have to be yourself. Pretend that you're, I don't know, James from a recent startup, that you want to get your website off the ground, but you just need to speak to people about it. You don't have to be yourself. You can be whoever you want. Now, sometimes, try not to, but you do sometimes get caught. Now, I used to have a bunch of acronyms, but I tend to like the caught one, because generally, that's the most, well, It's an important stage because you're basically trying to see, okay, I've been caught, what's next? So as it said, composure is key, keep your confidence, that's fine. Just because you've been caught doesn't mean the game's over. Essentially assess the situation. Is it just you and another staff member? Is it just you and a bunch of staff members? Is it like fully over, or can you work your way out of it? Can you just go, oh, I'm not, just so you know, I'm actually here because of this, blah, blah, and try and explain. I know for me, I normally have a letter of a statement that basically says, I'm allowed to be here. I always have a fake one. If someone says to me, you're not meant to be here, I will reveal that letter saying, yes, I am, and chances are they're going to go, okay, cool, and they'll walk off. I've done this a fair few times, and as long as you praise that person, and again, people want to be the heroes of their own story. So it's go, oh, well done you. You're the first person that caught me. There could have been the fifth person that day. It could have been the fifth person that hour, but you're the first person to catch me. Well done, you're fantastic. By the way, I'm here to do a test. You've passed, but if you just don't tell anyone, I need to see if that person, I need to see if Dave over there passes. I need to see if Greg passes this. And it's just making them feel better. Oh, I've caught you, and I did something really good. Oh, I'm going to have it, and I'll say to them, oh, I'm going to write a report at the end of the day. I'll specifically mention that you've managed to catch me out. I don't mention names, just in case, but at the same time, it's just making them feel better about themselves. And they generally just let you carry on. Unless the one time when I got surrounded by 5 people and threatening to call the police on me, that was fun. But generally, if that doesn't work and you are going to get caught no matter what, be truthful as much as you can. Be as, again, remain calm, remain composed, and if they say, stay there, don't move, don't do anything, don't run away, use common sense. But if you're fortunate and you've done all your research, you manage to get in, there we go. You managed to get in. Again, remain confident. You've got the adrenaline running. You managed to walk through, the car park gate opened up as you walked past, you got in. Someone left the door open, you got in. Someone left the window open, fair enough, that's a way to get in, but you're in the building now. Calm. If you get too excited, you look weird. Weirder, if you may. But just also don't linger around. Walk with purpose. If you have a rough idea what the building layout, walk around to where you know somewhere is. The bare minimum, find a toilet. Hide in the bathroom. Generally, that's a good place just to get there, relax, calm down, then walk out and then go, okay, I know I need to go in that general direction, I will go in that general direction. If you see people, say hello. You look weirder if you don't interact with people. I don't recognise you and all that, but in today's world, especially remote working, I remote work, I'm only in the office 1 day a week. Yeah, chances are people won't know who anyone is. So generally, what's next? Well, you could find a way to access the network. Found a printer there, simply unplugged it, connected to it, and then I Teams called our site contact and said, by the way, I'm on site, load up the camera, I'm in your office next door. Or if you're fortunate enough, during a fire alarm, a fire drill, just explore the office, see if you can plant any devices, see if you can open up drawers, gather some more intel, and just plug in devices if you want. As I said, when people get back to their computers, unlock it, I can connect to one of the payload devices from my phone and go, okay, they're logged in, press this button, download it a payload. Fantastic. So, in summary, so why physical security matters? As I said, if I can walk into your building, if I can pick up a laptop, I can pick up any of your technical devices, or not even that, pick up a file that contains client information, that could essentially decimate the trust that your clients will have in you. So no matter what firewall, whatever have you, I can just pick it up and walk out the building. Hacker's mindset, think outside the box, spot patterns. You're essentially trying to be a criminal without committing crime. That's the most important bit. You're essentially trying to exploit weaknesses that you see both in buildings, security, and unfortunately people. And unfortunately, people are very exploitable, so careful with that. And the internet is a goldmine. It's not just, looking up the nearest restaurant, what the reviews are like, or such and such has set this on social media, how dare they. You can find names, job titles, photos, potential badges, company information. Even if you just print out, go onto Company House, find some documents, official looking documents, print them out on a clipboard, you have further evidence to show, okay, you're officially meant to be there. You can just simply say, I'm doing a review of our policies. Here's some of the policies that I've printed out, and I'm just making sure that they're in place. Shh, don't tell anyone, because you're meant to be doing it secretly. You can get tools of the trade. Again, it doesn't always have to be high tech, it can be low tech, but RFID to high-vis jackets. Now, I love hearing the phrase, high-vis jacket to the ladder can get you anywhere. Again, where are you planning to get to? If you're planning to get onto a construction site, you might have a chance, because there's so many people there, but if you randomly go into a building at high-vis, you're not blending in, especially if they don't have many contractors there. So again, do your research. Make sure that you're not going to stand out too much. Social engineering often wins. The amount of times you can just talk your way into a place, if not, just talk to people to get more information about a place. I think my favourite one was a mix of tools of trade and social engineering. I was trying to get into a building, fuzzing access card details. It was just going off beep, 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 constantly saying wrong, wrong, wrong. Had a chap behind me, just tapped me on the shoulder and said, "You're right, mate." And I was using the flipper zero. Slid it down my wrist, had a blank access card. Mate, it's just not working. Oh, sometimes it's just not working. Let me try mine. Oh, it works. Okay, yeah, mate, there you go. People want to be trusting. People want to be heroes in people's stories and their own stories. People want to be helpful. And act like you belong. Because if you walk in there successfully, the way I see it, you own that place. So walk around with confidence, with purpose. If someone thinks you spots you and wants to have a conversation with you, don't run away. Approach them. Try to say hello. You might be lost, especially if it's a big building. Like, I'm normally in the Leicester branch. I'm in the Essex branch. Where's the bathroom, or where's this sort of area? And they go, I think it's roughly over there. Again, people want to be helpful. And then generally, the best security test is the one that no one notices. So the idea is, can you get to where you need to be without anybody questioning you, without anybody raising concerns, and especially contacting your point of contact. And if you can do all that, you can get into a client site, let's say, and access to their network, access to, just remember right, so a laptop with a username and password on a sticky note, which was great, and yeah, just gathering information about the network without anybody being alerted. So, yeah. And that's all.
Wow. Thank you so much, Tom. Alrighty. Are there any questions for Tom? Yes.
Have you been in the same place twice?
Yes.
Well, he has like
Okay, so I've broken in, let's see. Say broken. Broken is a strong word. I've got into the same place 2 days in a row, which was hilarious. The way I do that is I always say 2 days. I'd rather have 2 days and 2 testers. That way, if I can get onto site on day 1 successfully, day 2, have some fun. So I'll phone the contact and say, before going on site, I should say, so what is the main thing you want me to get? Get access to our servers. Cool. Got onto site, access to like computer servers, whatnot. Day 2. I'm going to go in there with a bright yellow jumper, bright pink, something obnoxiously, and go, I should not be here. You should question who I am. And it's more a case of, like, day 1, test your systems. Day 2, test staff awareness. If I stand on a table and like just pretend like I'm just refixing a light fixture or something, have someone question me. So, so yeah, 2 days in a row. Another one. Didn't do it in a row, but broke in, technically how many times? 7 times, I think, in total. Multiple times per day, I should say, because my goal was that day, can I just get it onto site? And I tested it through several different methods. And then I went there another day, did pretty much the same thing. And my last day at that place, which was the fun part, was essentially managed to bypass, tailgate someone, plant a device, and get off site without anyone noticing. So I don't think they like me.
Wow, that's really good. Any more questions? Yes.
How much of a significant security risk do you think hosting meetups are, in the sense of sometimes businesses will have, office space meetups to run, other events where members of the public can come into the building to secured areas to actually...
That's definitely...
Much a kind of mediate risk.
Oh yeah, there's definitely a risk because you've got people in the general public that they don't know. They might have registered, got the names, addresses, whatever have you. But essentially let's invite all these people in here. Chances are not enough people to actually manage to look after. And if I go, I'm just going to go to the bathroom, you're not going to follow me because why would you? It'd be weird. But then when I leave there, I'm just going to go left rather than back to you and then just suddenly be somewhere else. And I've definitely worked in a place where I wasn't doing security at that point. We had just someone randomly walk into our office because we were working essentially next to a museum. And it was a glass house museum in Dudley, I believe it was. Stourbridge, sorry. And the guy just walked in and we basically went, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm just thought this was part of the museum." I was like, "It's a blacksmith down here, it's computers up here. What part, just get out." So yeah, I would definitely say if you have a bunch of people, it's definitely a security risk. But as long as they have proper measures in place, as long as they're not just leaving obvious data. So another reason why some of the policies is any sensitive information you have written down, first of all, why? Second of all, in the drawers.
Very good. Yes.
You, sorry.
Are there any circumstances where you prefer to gain access out of business hours?
Oh, I would love to do that. I haven't had the opportunity, but the amount of times I drive past on the motorway and look at either a construction site or something and go, what can I do at night when there's no one around? I'm looking for any excuse to buy night vision goggles.
Any more questions? I have a question.
Is there, you're in the building and you see a security measure and you're like, oh my God, I'm found now. Or you're filled with dread. Do you have one that comes to mind, a security measure that you just hate dealing with?
Oh, well, I'm at the point now where if I get caught, it's fine. One of the recent ones that I did last year with an old colleague, we thought we weren't going to get in, and we were just acting so casual. We're going to get caught, and because we didn't get caught, we're like, okay, now we're getting really cocky here. Yeah. But the only time I got filled with dread is when I had to sneak into a building in London, and because it's my first time, my colleague decided, in the infinite wisdom, to just jump the barrier, which is entirely possible. If no one's looking, jump the barrier. But the guard saw us, yelled at us, and I'm pretty sure he put his hand on his hip. I don't know if he had a taser or not, but the thought went through my mind, it's like, I don't want to be on the floor tased. But since then, I was like, I'm going to be a bit more careful. Thankfully, not been an issue, but I later learned it was I'm not going to say government building, but it was a secured building.
Yeah.
We didn't manage to get in, mind you, but that's a different story.
Yeah, that was successful.
Now, it was successful for 30 minutes, but it was enough to plant a device.
Wow.
But generally, the amount of times that I've done this, the first fair few, yes, filled with dread, I might get caught. Now it's I want to get caught because I want to make sure that the staff are trained. Because we very often staff members are, I don't want to cause blame, I don't want to cause a fuss, I don't want to cause an issue because I'll get into trouble, which is not the case. If you see someone that you think, I don't recognise you, even if they belong there and you don't realise it, say something. Go, who are you here to see? Oh, I know that person, let me escort you to that place and confirm your identity, rather than going, I don't know who you are, but if I say anything, I'll get in trouble.
Yeah.
So it's trying to encourage that.
Very good. Awesome. Well, thank you so much again, Tom. I really appreciate it, and it's always so interesting to have you talk. And until next time.
Yes.
Tom.